What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back to another round. It's your girl Jay, and I am back here with some more stuff with the Love is Blind people. We still on these Love is Blind people. I know I said I had enough of it, okay? But baby, they just give us more and more to keep talking about. So come on in, let's get into it, okay? Cat, get out the bag, okay? Say hi to the Terrifier cat, okay? This little Art the clown, all right? That's my little Art the clown. Y'all say hi. Happy Halloween to y'all who is out there celebrating. I hope y'all having a good holiday. Be safe out there. And I know I'm interrupting some of y'all trick or treating and stuff like that. But listen, Linda, listen, okay? Our girl Alex finally gets to speak. Now that Tim is gone and he is no longer available to be seen according to him, she finally gets her turn to speak. And she lets us know some things, okay? So shout out to let me make sure I say their podcast name right before I get it wrong, because I don't want to get it wrong. And I do have the link in the description box. It's Think Loud Crew. Okay, shout out to them for securing this interview on their podcast. I think they were doing a very good job. Granted, I didn't go all the way through it because I was like, pause. Pause for the cause real quick because baby, I don't like to say like I'm right because that's not generally my stance on things or whatever stuff. But I was right about some things. I was right about some things that transpired down to the Cabo. Okay. Some things had transpired down to the Cabo, and it sounds like the way that I envisioned them playing out in my head, they played out in real life somewhat accordingly. But I'm gonna let Alex tell y'all or whatever. But in this podcast, and I advise y'all to go watch the full thing or whatnot. Like I said, I watched like the first 15 minutes up until we got to this point, and I was like, hold up, stop. I don't want to watch no more. I want to come and share this with y'all. But up until there, she's just talking about how the show goes. I think it's very informal on getting an understanding of the process. Because when everybody sit here and be like, how can they fall in love so quickly? How can they do this? This is crazy. It's only been a few days. Child, when you ain't got nothing else to do but talk to people, and all of us that grew up in the era where, cell phones, we didn't really have cell phone. We had the landlines, you had the rotary phone and all this stuff like that. When you grew up in that era, that connection came a lot stronger than this era that y'all got now, where y'all get to speak to everybody, see everybody, talk to celebrities, doing all this stuff. Child, we only had each other and the neighborhood kids. And so when you got with the neighborhood kids, you had a whole crush with somebody in the neighborhood's trust, because y'all ain't had nothing to do but play around each other, be with each other, talk to each other, spend time with each other. So I get it. This whole thing that they got going on was sped up. She also talks about a couple of other couples who end up making connections, but we don't necessarily see. She say her top 3 connections was, believe it or not, Nick, Tyler, and there's another guy that we never got to see at all. Those were some of their other connections, but Tim was like always on her top, and she was always on Tim's top. And she also lets us know that though a lot of people like to say that they was trauma bonding, which I say that they were not trauma bonding at all, that they were actually connecting and they were both sharing information. So she was like, we were trauma dumping on each other. We did a lot of trauma dumping on each other, but you guys, we only got to see where he was doing most of it on a lot of occasions, but they did connect on a lot of ways. So they became each other's real strongest tops because they were really vibing and connecting with each other within the pods. But she also lets us know, where I'm about to play this little clip, on what transpired in Mexico and how did we get there. And guess what? If y'all was on Kojo's live Little Black Book 91 last night when we did our little quick thoughts, or you got the live from here where I streamed it from here, y'all would have heard me run down how I figured the events went. You know why? It's because I have been on both sides of those coins. I have been on the side of something is going on with me, personally with me, and I just don't want to speak about it right now. And I've also been on the side of trying to pry a little too much till you aggravate a person. Okay. So I wasn't saying neither one of them was right. My stance was they both have poor communication. It was an easy resolve. But when we're in the beginning stage, sometimes we just don't know those those cues that you pick up on with your partner, that you know what, let me give her space. This is all in the learning stage of everything. And so communication is very, very, very important in the very beginning of a relationship, to let a person know how to operate around you, with you, for you. It's, you teach people how to love you. And that's the actual beginning stage, is your stage, your time to actually teach a person how to love you and learn how to love them when y'all trying to love each other. And obviously these two people weren't really in the learning phase of the other, but nonetheless, here we are. Okay. You say you usually aggravate a person. See, that's the problem. We can't be out here just aggravating the people, okay? Well, it is what it is. It's a learning thing. And please, if you are here and you're here for the live, or you're here on a replay, like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you like anything that you hear me say today, or if you just like the content, or you just like me, or you like green, you know what I'm saying? Just hit a like, okay? So I don't have to say like so much in my speeches. My parents tell me I say that too much. I'll be like, and I'm like, I'm such a violent girl, because I'm like, I'm working on it, okay? Here you go, Shred, with the semantics. But it's not the semantics. It sounds like I told you how it go down. I don't want to speak right now, and you keep going. But nonetheless, let her tell it in her own voice before y'all be trying to say I fed this lady these words. Okay, I did not feed her the words. She said them in her own. All right, but shout out to them. Okay, listen, Linda, listen. Let her live in her chaos. Let her live in her chaos if that's what she wants. Tell it. Anywho,
a lot of those girls did connect with a lot of guys, and some did continue relationships after, and you just never saw it. Yeah.
So there's still relationships outside of the pods that we just don't know about.
They're not continuing now, but that did continue after. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So I have
okay, so that's before I stop, I'm gonna have to stop and do it, because this is somebody else's stuff. So I do have to stop every so often to talk about it. Y'all just work with me, okay? If I'm talking too much, fast forward through what I'm talking. But she was just talking about some of the other people that we didn't get to see that made their connections. But obviously, like Brittany and what's the one name? Leo. Brittany and Leo was telling us that when they don't feel like it's gonna be a connection that actually goes somewhere, they don't follow those people. If they feel like they're going to be boring or they're not going to give the spice that they need, they don't really follow those people. So that's what she was speaking on right there. Now she's about to get into what happened that she learned something on. She learned a lesson, and it's going to take place in Cabo.
Question. Can you share any behind the scenes moments that didn't make the show, but significantly like changed your experience within the show?
I mean, behind the scenes. Well, okay.
Or something that didn't make it that we have
that would kind of clarify maybe another scene that we saw.
Oh, well, I mean, for sure, the fight in Mexico.
Fight, yeah. That was my next question. That was my next question. What happened in the unseen fight in Mexico?
Okay, so essentially, you saw us at the pool.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and everyone was having so much fun and everything was great. But what they didn't show was me and Marissa had a sidebar conversation.
Okay.
And she was just kind of telling me how much she like loved Ramses and he reminds her of this and that. And I was like, that's how much that's how I feel about Tim. He reminds me of like home and like my dad and everything, because they had a lot of things in common. And then I immediately just started to miss family, because my dad, as you saw, has MS.
Yeah.
He had been checked into a rehab facility right before I left. And it was a good thing, because he had 24-hour care, and it kind of took a little pressure off of us as a family. But you just
you're
okay,
worry.
And that's someone I talk to every day. And so for me, day 17, not speaking to him, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of getting emotional. I kind of want to wrap filming. I kind of just want to.
Let me just stop this for a hot second, because I just thought about somebody that was saying some craziness, and I don't remember who it was per se, but either it was some comments that I read or something like, If your dad is such in this type of way and stuff like that, and you decide to go on the show, that's so selfish. Baby, was she supposed to stop her life? Is she not supposed to find love and happiness because her dad is going through some medical condition? Do y'all stop y'all lives for your family members who's going through medical conditions and all of these things? Child, some of y'all kids are sick right now, and you still trying to go out with the man tonight. So I'm just trying to figure it out. I don't know. Well, let me not generalize it to the women, because some of you men's and don't stop nothing, stop nothing in your life for your family. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? What you say? Well, then don't let it stop her good experience with Tim. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't what stopped her good experience with Tim. But I'm gonna let her continue, because y'all like to figure out what it is that stopped her good experience.
Take a shower and go to bed.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when we were walking back to our hotels, he thought I was like so mad at him. And I'm like, no, I just don't feel like talking. And he's like, what was said to you? I was like, nothing. I just don't feel like talking. I'm not trying.
Oops, sound like insecurities. Sound like insecurities. If you ask me what's wrong with you and I say no, is it me? If you ask me, is it me? Is it something I did? Did I do something to you? And I say no, I just don't feel like talking about it. It's not you, baby. Stop trying to make everything about you. I think that's Tim's problem. Tim make everything about him. Like it's Tim or nothing, baby. Okay. That's what it is. You see that closet. You see the closet. If it ain't Tim, it's the dog. If it ain't the dog, it ain't nobody else. It's Tim and the dog and then nobody else. Okay. So, yes, you're right to think the same thing. But if a person tells you no, stop the thought. Stop thinking about yourself, baby. Your existence was in that moment to find out what was wrong with her. If she say, I'm not the problem, then it must be something else. Okay, let me move on. I'm no longer the problem. Check yourself out of that. Stop making it personal. Why do you have to personalize it to now we arguing? Again, my point exactly from last night. Okay, if you're checking on me, let it be about me. How did we flip it back to you? It must be about me. Why she ain't speaking? Why she mad? Oh my God. Like, insecurities, calm down. Simmer down. Simmer down, baby. Okay, simmer down. Shoot. Elsie, cut the crap.
Trying to break down, like, while we're at the pool. I'm just like, please just stop talking about it. I just want to like go back to the hotel and shower and go to sleep. And eventually I was going to tell him, but at that moment I just didn't.
You were still in the moment.
You're like, let me take a moment. Let me, before
literally.
I ball.
Literally. And so when we got back to the room, I'm in the, they give you the video camera to like record your night dates and whatnot. And so I'm like, come on, babe, let's just like, record this night date. And he was like not having it. He was like, no. You starts like increasingly getting like really persistent on trying to understand what is causing all this distress. And he's like, you're going to talk to me. What is going on? And it's like, he thinks he is just a passionate and he projects.
Hold on. Let me go ahead and address you. See, that's your problem. That's your problem, Trey Mack, because you want to argue. See what I'm saying? See, you're going to take this personal right now because you want to argue. That's the problem. That's what I'm talking about. If you stop making it personal, it won't be an argument. You know what I'm good for? I ask you what's wrong, and I can know something wrong with you, and you tell me nothing, I'm gonna walk away and say, okay, and I'm gonna keep on going about my business. You know why? Emotions are personal. I'm not gonna sit here and be mad with you being mad. Why should I mess up my day because you don't want to tell me what the problem is? When you're ready to tell me what the problem is, fine. But until then, guess what your problem going to be? Watching me be happy because I'm going to go ahead about my goddamn business? If you don't want to tell me what the issue is, I'm not going to force it out. I'm not going to pry it out of you. I'm not going to have an argument with you. I'm not going to personalize it because obviously if I asked you, is it me? Did I do something? And you say no? Okay. I'm taking your word for it. Face value, period. I'm out. Good. It was not me. So whatever your problem is, it's not, long as it ain't me, good. I ain't the problem. I'm going to be the solution when you're ready. I'm going to be it when it's ready. Okay. That ain't projecting. That's you, baby. That's you. You got this argument. I'm trying to tell you. I'm telling you how to solve these arguments. You won't have an argument if y'all stop trying to be the problem. You feel me? Don't be the problem. Be the solution. The solution is to walk yourself on out the way. If they say no, it ain't you. I just need a moment to myself. Grant it. Grant the moment. Let them have it. Bye. Find you some business. Good Lord. Y'all won't have argument. Who they gonna argue with if you ain't there? Who they gonna argue with if you ain't there? Let them argue with themselves. They want to argue with the air. Argue with the air, baby. Do you? But I'm gonna check you in the mental hospital when I come back because you're talking to yourself now. You're talking to yourself, okay? And I said that, Katie. She could have communicated, but listen. When you're on the verge of tears and you were trying to withhold tears that you feel in some type of way, and I have been in this position before. I don't know if y'all been in this position where you're dealing with, I'm gonna put it like that. I know it's not a DED situation, okay? Ain't nobody D up in here, okay? But when you're dealing with some type of loss, trauma, hurt, something like this, sometimes you don't want to talk about it because you know that all of those emotions is going to just make you pour out in the moment. Related to when my auntie's mother passed away, they kept trying to get her to sit down. They kept trying to get her to sit down and stop moving or whatever and stuff like that. The problem with that was when she stopped moving, she was going to bawl in tears. She didn't want to stop moving because she didn't want to have that wave of emotions flush out right then and there. Sometimes when you ask people what's wrong, they start pouring down because they're still trying to process what it is that they're feeling and everything is not coming out. Sometimes you just got to let a person be so they don't have to deal with all those emotions they're not ready to deal with in that time. And what I'm saying, y'all have to give people their space to just emote sometimes and let them process what they're going through without everything that's around it. Because now I'm sitting here flooding my tears out on a problem that you cannot fix. He can't fix the fact that her dad is in our house and she's feeling homesick. And it's frustrating because at this time, what she's saying is, I'm thinking about my dad and how much Tim is the same as my dad, and it's making me feel some type of way. It's not that it's a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just making me miss my best friend in the whole wide world. This girl says she talked to her dad every single day, and for 17 days so far, she has not talked to her dad. So yes, I said it yesterday. It's an easy communication. She should have just said it a little bit more better that, hey, I am going through something right now. I don't really want to talk about it right now. I'm just missing my dad right now. There's a whole bunch of things. But as we continue, this is where it turns left, because if I just say, I don't want to talk about it right now, sometimes that should just be enough. Honestly, that should just be enough. Respectfully, respect my space. Respect my boundaries. My boundary says I don't want to talk about it right now. Why are we pushing boundaries? Why? Because we're a rebellious spirit and I'm going to do what the person don't like. You know? Sometimes people don't have the words to communicate, so the communication comes out, not right now. Give me a moment. Give me a second. Let me breathe. A lot of times when people are about to blow up, those are the words that they use before the blow up because they're trying not to blow up. But everybody that ends up getting on the other side of the blow up always like to start on the middle part of it. They don't start on the fact that the person told you, give me a minute, leave me alone. Unhand me, woman. I don't know if y'all ever watched those skits by that boy, but he let me laugh with that. But you know, when they try to tell you, just back up for a second. And you don't back up. So you be the result of a blow up, and then it's looking like, well, you just blew up on me. No, I asked you for the space. You wasn't my intended target. But you stood in the way. Get the freak out the way. That's all. Sometimes y'all just need to leave people alone. Let them be for a minute. Give them space. Stop smothering people.
projects his voice and it carries, but he was actually yelling.
Yeah.
And, you know,
let me rewind just
he was like not having it. He was like, no. You starts like increasingly getting like really persistent on trying to understand what is causing all this distress. And he's like, you're going to talk to me. What is going on? And it's like, he thinks he is just a passionate and he projects his voice and it carries, but he was actually yelling.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was like,
this is personal, and to the person, they know who they are. If they watching this, they know who they are, because we had a whole talk about how they felt like he doesn't raise his voice and he wasn't yelling or whatever and stuff. Hey, crazy homebody girl, where you been? I seen you in other people's chats. But Hay was having a whole, I'm not gonna out these people because I know who they are if they watching this video. But they was trying to tell me that they feel like Tim don't project because they don't see no signs on the reunion. He wasn't projecting, he wasn't getting loud, he didn't get angry and all this stuff. I was like, say, what now? Were we watching the same thing? Now I might be conflating a little bit. I might be exaggerating on that he don't get angry part. Okay. Girl, I'm glad somebody got a job. Let me hold something. Let me hold something to the 15th. No, but clearly, I was saying there's a reason why we have to go. Whatever it is that she did, I was about to choose you. When she had to go, you getting loud. Now, coming from a family that's loud, and technically, I'm the quietest one out the family, which is really odd because I be feeling like I be loud sometimes, and maybe just because I might be a little deaf in the ear, so I be having to feel like I'm loud. I'm not really sure. But you can tell the difference when a person is talking in their nice little calm voice and stuff, and then they start elevating and they start projecting and they start huffing and puffing and talking with their chest and ready to blow your house down. All I was saying is he does come across that he can heighten his voice a bit. Now, he might not have been screaming at the top of his lungs in some rage of, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. He might not have been doing all of that, but he probably was elevating his voice, especially when we face to face. There's no way, there's no reason we face to face. And I shouldn't be able to talk to you just like this. This is about how much. And y'all know I got my voice lost right now. So I'm really forcing a lot of it out because I don't have 100% of my voice. But when we're like in close proximity, there's really no reason we should be talking like this. There's no reason my neighbor should be able to hear my conversation. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I was trying to say last night, is that I don't think he was necessarily yelling at her, but I think he had an escalation in his voice. Because what Tim looks to, like, from my perspective, this is my perspective, in my opinion, like he likes to do is over talk somebody. His voice must be heard. So I feel like if she continues to talk, he's going to get louder to try to diffuse her sound. But, hey, listen, that might be mine too. Child, mine's, I just feel like I be talking loud just because the rest of my family's so loud. Hey, I mean, tell me if it's just me. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all thought his voice was escalating a little bit on the reunion. Put a 2 if you don't. Just let me know. Just let me know, those of you that was in here. What you say? Majority of us did, Trey Mac. Majority of us did. Some of us was on the stance that he didn't really elevate in his position, but majority of us did feel like he was getting a little escalated. So I'm getting a little even right now. I got some 1s, I got some 2s. Elle said, go away because you trolling at this point, okay? I ain't got no time for you today. You just want to troll. But yes. So I'm getting some 2s. They said that he wasn't elevated, but he wasn't. I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to say that he was necessarily elevating yesterday. He definitely was angry, though. He was controlling it, okay? He was controlling it, but I do feel like he was over talking a little bit. Ooh, dang, I feel like I need a spit. All right. So I'm getting some. Now he seemed tensed off, but you gave him a 2. He wasn't escalated. He wasn't elevated. I think, you know what? I feel like if they let that conversation go on longer, if they had let that conversation go on longer, we would have probably seen some of what was going on. It was just in his face. It was in his face and them crossed legs, baby. Yeah. I think if they got to keep going back and forth, because he was trying to get loud. He did try to get loud, but the men kept tapping him like, it's cool, bro, it's cool. He was trying to get loud when he was trying to get his point on the night with your dad, like when he was trying to say that she went out to the club all night. But we're gonna have the facial expressions and the body language, okay? We definitely gonna have that. That's the last resort. When we can't get loud, baby, them eyes gonna roll. Them eyes gonna be loud. Them eyes gonna roll, baby. Okay. You said one if you, yeah, no. That's what I said. I said, did I say he got loud or he escalated? Child, I don't know what I said now. Child. Leo stayed with a leg cross, though. Leo's distinguished, okay? Leo's a distinguished gentleman, baby. Him and that Rolex. Anywho, let me run it back just a smidget so we don't miss nothing, okay? We're gonna go back just a smidget. We're doing some little dissecting.
The bathroom, I'm isolated, I'm back in the corner, and I'm like, I don't know how to communicate with you. You're like in my face, and I'm trying to explain to you I'm not mad at you, but I also don't feel safe to open up to you right now because you're yelling at me.
Yeah.
Which turned into me like crying and trying to calm him down.
Now here's a catch-22. Because I tell y'all, I come from a loud family. Coming from a loud family, which I don't really think Tim come from a loud. They don't seem like they loud talking people. If y'all meet y'all kind of met one of my sisters. If y'all meet my sisters, y'all meet my dad, my auntie. I think some of y'all have seen on live before, whatever and stuff like that. We some country type people. We talk loud. So when you talking to us and we get passionate, it's definitely gonna sound like we yelling. My grandma used to always say it all the time. Y'all some yelling. Y'all always yelling. Oh, y'all some loud. Y'all some loud people. My grandma used to always say that about my dad's side of the family. This is my mother's mother. She used to always say that about my dad's side of the family, that we some loud people. The catch-22 of it is, if you're not you're not accustomed to us, or you're not from a loud speaking family, it's definitely gonna sound like we yelling. Chad, and he just be right next to me. He be thinking he whispering too. he be thinking y'all don't hear him. That's the crazy part. He be thinking he whispering. That's him talking low. That's his low voice. Okay. Not the sassy cross tray. Y'all a mess. Y'all a mess. Let me put my thing. Okay. Please hit the like. I'm gonna reset, but please hit the like for me. Okay. Please, please, please just hit the like. That's the least y'all can do. Okay. I'm not asking for too much. Just hit the like so the algorithm can keep me going while I work out some things. Child, I gotta find me a job. All right. Cause it's getting hot. All right. Y'all sound like y'all always fight. Exactly. Don't let us get into playing some cards or a game night, child. Game night could sound like fight night, baby. Fight night real quick. I'm just saying. So like when we have people that are more quiet space, they always think we're yelling. So her saying that he's yelling at her doesn't necessarily mean that he's yelling, but it can feel like he's yelling at her because he is a passionate person. I would say that about Tim. Tim is a passionate speaker. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to speak. And another thing too, when you're a stern speaker, sometimes that can come off a certain way too. So if you're stern and you're passionate, or whatever, it could come off a certain way. But again, if we're in a bathroom, like she said, we're in a bathroom, we're in a closed space, we're pretty much face to face, and you go from, hey, baby, what's wrong? What's wrong? Are you okay, babe? I just want to know what's going on. Come on, baby. Like, for real though, like, nah, I don't want to do anything because you ain't really speaking to me. I'm not really loud, but that tone and the mannerism of which I'm using my words now, yeah. Now that I'm using my words very stern, and it sounds a little more bassy underneath there, it brings on a different tone. It's no more sweet pleasantries like, hey, I'm just trying to find out. Now, what's going on with you? What's up? What's up? Now it's getting more, I won't say loud, but it might be more aggressive. It might be more in the face. It might be more New York. You know what I'm saying? No, just playing. Leave you New Yorkers alone. I love the way New York people talk. I swear to God. But y'all about to make me call my friend just so I can hear him say some crazy word. I just love hearing this man talk, man. He's so New York. I love it. But that's neither here nor there. Sometimes, yeah, he be saying it, and he got a deep voice too, sis. So he be like, "What's good, ma? How you doing, ma? Yo." I love it. I love it. Child, what was the reason? For real. For real. I love New York talk. I swear. I like accents, y'all. Don't mind me. You in New York, you about to get a yo ma. Hey, yo ma. Hey, yo ma. Slow down. Let me holler at you real quick. But he from Georgia. I'm trying to think of my Georgia men. I have some Georgia men. I don't think that the ones that I know, they're not really loud. They're not really loud. But when they talk, you hear them. Not you got you. I got you, shorty. But yeah, so we'll take into account that the getting loud for her can be subjective. But I do feel like there was an elevation in his voice that is now like, okay, hold up. And I don't think it's just the elevation. I think it's the combination of the fact that she's made this. Okay, so here's the crucial mistake she's made. She's ready to film some other stuff, but still hasn't really fully addressed what was wrong with her. That is a definite crucial mistake that she definitely made in this whole situation. If we go back to it, she said, he's asking me what's wrong. I'm telling him nothing's wrong. I just want to film. I just want to, take my shower and go to bed. And then she's like, we have the camera. We have the camera, and we like to record our night thing. And she's like, let's record this night date. Well, baby, he's still pissed off the fact that he don't know what's wrong with you. We got to rewind. We gotta discuss that too, because I ain't gonna hold you. I'll be pissed too. Because you kind of shut me out. And that's what she did. She shut him out. And we all agree that she was wrong for that. She shut him out in this moment. And then she carried on like nothing's wrong. Girl, if you don't get your little bipolar self up out of here. Because now I'm feeling some type of way. And you just carrying on like woo, woo, woo. So this is why I go back to my first statement. When somebody say, I'm okay, do not make their feelings your feelings. Because guess what? Now you stuck with their feelings and they go on about their merry way. When we both could have been sitting here, you better now? Okay, well, let's film this daggone thing because shoot, you still ain't talking about it, but I guess you better now. Let's do this. But now he's sitting with her feelings on him. And he mad. He mad. So baby girl, Alex, you gonna have to start explaining yourself when you have these breakdowns and these moments of I need time to self. You got to understand that person is now processing something now too. And you got to come back and say, hey, you know what? Thank you for giving me my space. Listen, I still don't really want to talk about it. Or, hey, this is what it was. This is what it was. But I don't want to get into depth because I'm still a bit emotional. I'm still a bit raw. And can we just have a good time right now and let's record? You can't just jump into, I'm about to break down because of my daddy, but let's record a video for the people. Ma'am, are you okay? You unstable? So that's definitely a flag on Alex's part. I'm not gonna sit here and just act like this whole thing. And I said this last night. The whole thing is not on him. It's both of them in poor communication. They both have poor communication with each other. So that was poor communication on her part. But before then, he needed to just take her word. It's not about you. I need my space. Let her have her space. After you get your space, Alex, you tell him, you fill the space up with what was the reason. What was the reason? Okay, you tell him. Don't just carry on like nothing happened, like you didn't just affect this man too. Girl, you be watching that daggone two could play the game and trying to put your emotions on him. That's not how that works. You don't do it in these moments, girl. You drive a person crazy. What is wrong with you? Just go ahead and tell the man, I'm feeling homesick. I miss my daddy. I'm sorry. I don't want to be crying right now. So can we do something fun and happy again? Can we get back to love again? We cried so much in the damn pods. I don't want to cry no more. Okay. That's what you could have did. Girl, y'all did cry so much in the damn pods. You should have been dry of tears by this time. But I get it, girl. Okay. But still, Tim, ain't no reason for you to be making her feel unsafe to even share with you. Give a person a space. Okay? Two wrongs ain't gonna make a right. Child. And don't be listening to that. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. Child, listen. Listen, okay? That lady was all the way wrong. Child, okay, baby. We is all asking this question. We all asking this question, and I was trying to figure out why Miss Lachey kept addressing AD too. What in the Tyler, Bree, and Deshaun is going on here? Chad, I was really trying to figure it out too, but you know that's their new thing. They like to bring the old people back or whatever. And I guess, okay, because Well, El said that's because Tim's is not a Ramsey's, okay? Tim said, when I said no, we are done. Okay, baby. Ain't no going back. That's one thing. I respect him for that. Be done. Okay, be done. It could be completely done. All right. Child, hold up. Did y'all see how close they were sitting? Did y'all see how close they were sitting though? I was like, why is Marshall all the way up under AT? It was one time he had to separate himself a little bit. I was like, oh, why are you so close to this lady? She said she got a man. Is you the man's? She was like, get off me, son. That dude, I was like, dang. He making sure that if one of them little chichas popped out, he was gonna cover it up. He was gonna be there. He was gonna be her Justin Timberlake. Okay, he was gonna catch it. I was like, damn, baby, it's a lot of space in between you and that other girl. I don't even remember who she was. Season 3, somebody. Okay, it was a lot of space between them two. I was like, you got enough room to sit nice, comfortably in the middle. You can man spread in the middle if you want to, sir. Why are you like elbow to elbow with AD? I'm like, you damn near one of her straps, sir. But anywho, this is about Alex. We're gonna get off of them. Yeah. I don't really care who she is, Elsie. Thank you though. Yes, Nancy will give her respect. She need her 5 minutes because they put her on there for whatever reason. I don't even remember her, to be honest with you, but here we are.
And production was still outside of our door. So because production was outside of our door, I didn't want them to come in and like see him yelling and then be like, oh, let's get cameras and record him.
Yeah.
I didn't want him to look bad.
Do you think that if they were to come into that scene that it would have heightened it, or would he have seen the cameras and calmed down?
I honestly don't know.
Do you think he was already at that level of just he was just going?
Mm-hmm. He was pretty gone. I did not recognize him.
Because sometimes the camera.
You know what? I'm starting to think about something. I think we should start learning how to do the art of diffusion. I think that should be a prerequisite for relationships, that you learn how to diffuse. situations. And I'm not just talking about talking calmly and all this stuff to an irate person, because in some cases, i.e. Joe Buttons, you only making it worse. Because sometimes y'all talk softly and sweetly, but be condescendingly. I think we really need to learn the art of diffusion. You know, when you see your partner getting up and stuff like that, you might have a little touch that you might be able to give your partner to calm them down or whatever, or just like, you know, let's regroup, reframe, whatever we got to do. 1, 2, 3, 3. What is it? 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? We got to count to 10, whatever the case may be. Woo saw together. Woo, 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 woo. Because if you're trying to cover him and he's getting loud, our best bet is to sit there and say, hey, listen, take a breath, calm down. Let me just talk about what it was. So you can understand right now, because you're really taking this personal. You're really, really taking this real personal. I know the touch comes with time, but sometimes some of us got an early gift. Some of us got a green thumb early that you know how to just touch a flower and it's going to calm down, and some of them going to grow. You got to figure out some way of diffusing the situation. If you was really trying to cover him and keep out production, child, you could have even said, hey, do you want the cameras to come up in here and catch this? Because listen, I can open the door and let them on in. I'm petty like that. I probably would have. I'd be like, listen, the cameras, you want to catch this? Because I'm trying to tell you, I don't want to talk about it right now, but obviously you do. So I'm going to tell you my one way art of diffusion. I ain't going to tell you to shut up. I'm going to shut up. Who you arguing with? Who you yelling at? Because, baby, I don't hear you anymore. I'm going to shut up. That's my favorite way of art diffusion. You going to just be hot and tempered. You going to walk off. You going to yell by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Well, she tried that, baby. She tried that the next day. She tried to climb up on him. It didn't work. And you know what? Sometimes that might have worked in that situation. He might have been a little hot and bothered. He might have wanted a little loving up on him and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, the fact that she just kind of moved on the way she did, not that what the heck is bothering you. The way that she moved on, what she did, or whatever, he wasn't going to want to be touched, because he's still processing it that he did something wrong. He's seen that her and Marissa had a conversation, a sidebar conversation, and she walks off. He's automatically thinking, I did something wrong. That's legit. He's automatic. I'm still learning this person. I must have did something wrong, because I'm still in the phase of not knowing if I'm actually doing what's right to please my partner. Where he goes wrong is staying in that moment of making it personal when she says, it's not about you. Give her space. You don't give the person the space, and I'm going to put it in this terms. One of my cousins was going back and forth with his lady at the time. And he told us what was going on in his mind. What was going on in his mind is, the only thing I want to do right now is shut you up. When that generally goes on in a person's mind, they're thinking of all the different ways to shut you up. Say something wrong, do something to you, walk away, this, that, and the third. Majority of them things is not very positive things. Just give the person a space. You don't have to keep blah, 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 blah. Sometimes you can even just change the subject. Changing the subject sometimes still gives a space. Hey, you want something to eat? Child, that works for me every time. Because generally, I probably am hangry. That's probably what it is. Don't offer me no fries, child. I'm your best friend. Now, if you offer me fries and I turn them down, there's something drastically wrong with me, okay? But we could be in the middle of a whole bunch of stuff. You might be like, you hungry? You know what I'm saying? If you got to go on a solo shopping trip by yourself, you know what I'm saying? Do you. Get on that Amazon, whatever it is. Well, you be mad by yourself. I'm going to let you know. You're going to be mad by yourself because I'm going to diffuse it by, I'm not about to do this with you. Hell, do you want to eat me? You know what I'm saying? What you want to eat, baby? Let me know. Maybe if you taste on something sweet, it might help you, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know, but hey, I don't know. You gotta learn the art of diffusion. I don't think she did a very good job of diffusing this situation, saying, "Oh, production's outside, just shh." Girl, you gonna shush an angry man like that? No. And then you know it get worse. You know it get worse. You know it get worse. Lord, geez, let's continue.
Whereas do make it worse.
Yeah.
And there are people who are like, oh, the camera's here now. Let me really put on a show.
I don't think he would have did that. I don't think he would have overdone it, but I think he probably would have just been like annoyed and just continued where he was. Mm-hmm. But I mean, who knows? I just know I was so focused on making sure he didn't look bad in that moment because he's clearly trying to express himself. I'm trying to de-escalate the situation. Yeah. But I'm literally like motioning to him like, calm down, please. Like, I need you to like lower your voice. And he's like, no, I'm not having it. You're going to talk to me. You're going to listen to what I'm saying. And I'm like, okay, I have to get a production involved because I can't calm.
Hey, you're going to talk to me and you're going to listen to what I'm saying. Now, Tim. Now, either she telling a bold face right here or you in confusion, buddy. She can't do both. Now, did you want her to talk to you or did you want her to listen to you? Because we know how you like to, ring it around back to you. So did you want to know what was wrong with her or did you want to go ahead and tell her now what's wrong with you? And that's my biggest thing right there. Anytime a person tell me they don't like to argue, generally they like to argue. Because you're not telling me you're not going to argue with me. You're telling me I don't like to argue. Yeah, you do. That's why you said it. Because a person that's not going to argue with you is going to walk away. When I don't want to disrupt my peace, and I tell you, I do this with my daughter, I do this with anybody. Your emotions is your emotions. They're not mine. I'm not about to put your emotions on me. As an empath, I have to protect myself. I cannot sit here and let your emotions be my emotions. So if I ask you one time, you don't want to tell me, and I might come circle back. You sure? That second time after I ask you sure, that's it. We're good. Don't chase me down. Don't do any of this stuff like that. Now, if I recall, he claimed he walked away. At what point did you walk away, sir? After you try to transfer the emotions back to her? You shouldn't have picked them up in the first place. When she said she don't want to talk about it and it has nothing to do with you, all right, go on about your business. Go finish drinking with the boys. Do something else. Hell, wash her back in the shower. Maybe you want me to take a shower with you? You want me to hold your hair so it don't get wet? You know what I'm saying? Like, hell. Do like Ramsey's. Walk up behind her and do everything she don't. No, just don't do that. Don't just ask her. Don't hold her because she don't want to be here. But, you know. But, ma'am, shushing another person, let them stop saying anything. Simple as, I'm not going to talk to you in this state. I'm not going to talk to you while you're in this state. When you calm down and you stop and you lower your voice and you stop yelling, you sit down, whatever the case may be. I don't know if he was standing, sitting, whatever it is. I'll talk to you then. If you really want to know what's happening with me, you have to calm down, babe. This not it. I can't talk to you like this. There's so many different ways, but the one way that is definitely not going to do it is putting your hands on somebody who's already irate. Especially us of this hue. We already know how it feels when people like talk with their hands and all this stuff like that. We really don't like that either. We don't like when they all in our face doing all this and stuff. You know, we don't like that. Certain body language triggers us. Okay, certain body languages triggers us. So, ma'am, you trying to diffuse the situation by putting hands on him or putting hands in his direction? Shh, shh. Don't shush me like a mom. Don't. Shh. Shh. It was shush. No, we ain't shushing now. That was never gonna shush him, sis. Y'all might have to watch Incredible Hulk or something, because I do not recall her ever shh the Hulk like that. Y'all cannot wait till a person gets irate and all of these things and just think that y'all gonna put y'all hands on them. You cannot do that. I'm just sorry. You almost have to talk with your hands to your side. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. It does not work well. It never goes well. To think to actually start to put your hands or near a person or whatever and stuff in some type of way. So there's certain things that diffusing that's just not diffusing. I'm just sorry. That's just not diffusing the situation. Okay. I'll tell y'all a story, one of my bar stories. Okay, real quick. One of my bar stories. And this is all my fault. But the fact that I had to step in so fast, it got there. And I tried to touch the person in a calm manner, but that still didn't work because I touched the person while they're irate and they're drunk. So there's two different things. But however, they had this lady in the corner and I was just like, yeah, we can't have that. That's what we can't have, is her stuck in the corner. So immediately what I did was place myself in between them. And then when I went to talk to them, when some other guys came by, because they see now that he's getting mad. But the real problem was other guys came by. When I touched him, he turned to me and noticed that it was me. And I was like, is everything cool? He like, yeah. It gave the girl enough time to get out of the corner. So that was one of my main goals, is get her out of the corner. Excuse me. She got out the corner. And so by this time, a lot of the other guys came because they thought it was a problem with me and him. So I'm like, no, it's not no problem with that or whatever and stuff like that. So when I went to like touch him again to show them that it was no problem, he kind of pushed my arm down. So I said, okay. Because this is one of my regulars. I know who it is or whatever and stuff like that. It's not somebody off the street. You know what I'm saying? Nobody does that. All right, baby. But let me not touch you. But by the time my nephew and everything come up, now it's a whole different situation and all this stuff, because now it's a group of men surrounding this man. And I had to literally get in between everybody and just say, no, everything is okay. We're good. Everything's okay. Everything's fine. I don't want it to be no more of a problem. But see, my problem was initially the way that I touched him. I shouldn't have. I have violated his space. I did not diffuse the situation the best way I should have. So now it's escalating to something else when everybody else comes around. So like she said, yes, when the camera crew come around, it may escalate to something else. It may not. However, we don't want that situation. But she also didn't want him to get any louder. So you shouldn't be doing all of this stuff. Some people like to put on the show when they can, okay? So sometimes you just got to be the bigger person to shut up. They can't argue with themselves. They really just can't. Like, they can talk until they black and blue. And child, I'd have been outside with production. I don't know who he talking to. He on the phone with somebody or something. I don't know. That y'all gave him phones? Because I didn't get my phone back. Can I get my phone back? Child, he'd have been looking bad because he'd have been arguing with himself. I try to cover him. But hey, I don't know who the hell he talking to, because I am not his child. But We gonna learn one day. One day, when you have enough relationships, you learn these little secrets.
Calm you down.
Yeah.
Like,
Is that
And
when
I
he
also
said-
still don't really know you.
Right. Is that when you
Right.
were trying to calm him down and putting your hands up? Is that
Correct.
when he said that you were trying to shut him up, like putting your
on his
hands on his
right.
mouth?
Because it wasn't a
stuff?
physical altercation. Like, I'm not grabbing his face or putting my hands physically on his mouth. It was more like covering it in emotion. Like,
Right.
do not yell because there are people outside and I don't want them to want to like record.
Somebody tell me what covering it in emotion is. What is covering? Okay, let me rewind because I'm not sure what the freak covering it in emotion is. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm losing something. I don't know.
He was, but I mean, who knows? I just know I was so focused on making sure he didn't look bad in that moment because he's clearly trying to express himself. I'm trying to de-escalate the situation,
Yeah.
but I'm literally like motioning to him, like, calm down, please. Like, I need you to like lower your voice. And he's like, no, I'm not having it. You're going to talk to me. You're going to listen to what I'm saying. And I'm like, okay, I have to get a production involved because I can't calm you down.
Yeah.
Like,
Is that
And I also still don't really know you.
Right. Is that when you
Right.
were trying to calm him down and putting your hands up? Is that
Correct.
said that you're trying to shut him up, like putting your hands on his
right.
mouth?
Because it wasn't a physical altercation. Like, I'm not grabbing his face or putting my hands physically on his mouth. It was more like covering it in emotion. Like,
Right.
do not.
You're still in the space, ma'am. You're still in this space. You broke his barrier. While you're back here saying shh, and your space is shh. No. That still can be taken some type of way, but you're still in your space. It sounds like you're in his space. So if he wants to ocho cinco you, guess what? Now your hands will touch his head. Nah, she wasn't that calm. I know she wasn't that calm, Trey. I know she wasn't that calm. It's easy to say it back like this, to say I was just doing this and stuff like that. But that's what I'm saying. That's why it gets tricky about having the hands flying all around. That's why that gets tricky and stuff like that. That's why you got to almost have to talk with your hands to your side, because when we start getting escalated and the hands is flying and the bodies is going, somebody accidentally gets bopped. Is that not how Evelyn got hit in the head by another head? Because we was a bit close in each other's space. I'm just saying. Ma'am. I just... it was so close. It had to be so close into his face that the next day on camera, she sits there and tells us, "I'm sorry, I put my hands in your face. I put my hands on you," or something like that. That's what she told us. We didn't know that she had her hands anywhere in proximity of him. She told us that. He never said it. Yeah, but she was too busy trying to cover and make sure he don't look bad, which in turn still end up making you both look bad. Exactly. That's what he was really bothered back. And that's what I'm really trying to get to, because I didn't watch this far. So I'm really trying to get to where in time that we get to the name calling of it all. Because at this point, you're telling us that you need to get production to step in with this man. So go get production to step in. It would be okay. You still don't know this man. Y'all some days in of face-to-face actually knowing each other. Granted, y'all spent the days in the pod, but this is only day 2, 3 of actually being in each other's space. This might even be day 1 of being in each other's space. Now I'll give it 2 because I think they spend the first day kind of by themselves, and then the next day they see the rest of the game. So I guess say day 2 of being around a person you barely know. Just get production, because guess what? Tim being the guy that I think Tim is, I think if production had walked in there with the cameras, I think he actually would have calmed down. Because just like he said on the reunion, I'm a 255 dude, 6 foot. How I look. I think if you would have went on and said, you know what, y'all come in, step in and stuff like that, come in, this would be a great moment. Whatever y'all want to do, come film it right now. I think Tim would have calmed down. You got a justice for Tim flag going on in here. Winning wrong gonna be a menace no matter what. Y'all gotta love winning wrong, baby. Okay. She wasn't calm. Because Con would have walked out there to production and invited them in. Okay, winning wrong. I'm not about to sit here with you. He's free. He is single, winning wrong. Go find that man. Tim is free for the world, baby. Child, not y'all voting. But no, I'm just saying this escalated. This escalated because both parties was just dead ass wrong. Just snowballing in the wrong, okay? Just domino effect, one wrong after another. But the first wrong is going to be just not giving the person the space that they asked for. Just give them their space. And ma'am, now you violating his space. Because all this all in his face, you don't need to. You don't need to. You know, Elle said, like she said, if you wanted Tim to be quiet, stick your tongue down his throat. Give him a kiss. Hold on to that man, kiss him or whatever and stuff like that if you want him to be quiet, if you want him to stop yelling. Now, if he start doing all this and he don't want to kiss you, I'm going to tell you another thing to do. It generally works. I'm going to say rub on that love below one little time, like one nice little, hey, a little swipe, a little nice little swipe. You know, if you're gonna violate his space, violate it in a romantic way, real romantico. Okay, get real romantico with him real quick. You know, ooh, you know, violate him the right way. But that wasn't the way, ma'am. I'm gonna tell you now, that was not the way to do it, because that just escalated the situation some more. Because now you all in his space. And now he got every right to act a whole daggone fool. And I'm glad he didn't do what some men on the streets would do, because they're triggered by the hands in the face. So I don't know where y'all hearing either one of these parties. Neither one of these people is innocent, child. As I continue to break this down and we're going back and forth on who's right and wrong, child, they both wrong. I'm trying to figure out how we get to the point where he is now an unstable creature.
Yell because there are people outside and I don't want them to want to like record you in this moment.
Like, let's not do this.
You guys never had any physical contact.
Not at all.
Your hands never touched his face.
Not at all.
Or his mouth.
Not at all. Nope.
Bro, that broke his barrier. Didn't Tammy Rowland tell Evelyn, girl, put your hands down while talking to me? Don't have these basketball wives get up there and say, put your hands down. Ain't that like the general rule in the Black neighborhood? Put your hands down while talking to me. Ma'am, you broke his barrier. So you didn't physically touch him, but you broke his barrier enough to say that I am sorry for touching you. I mean, let's edit and put that up in there. And those is not what you really said. You broke his barrier enough to feel like you touched him. Am I wrong? Am I off on that? Because if we go back to that scene, I could have swore she was the one who said she apologized for touching him and calling him out of his name. Now, maybe they must have added that touching and part in there, and she was just apologizing for calling out the name. So I don't know. Yeah, I'll give it a little bit of more than a little, but okay, all right, all right, all right. Y'all both. I mean, he agreed that she didn't touch him. He did say it out of his mouth that she didn't touch him either. So we can give her that. But you broke the boundary enough. You was across the plane. You was across your. We all have a little aura around us. And sometimes people get a little too close in that aura. You was too close into his aura, ma'am. You touched his energy enough, okay?
Because in that right, and because in that scene, it made it seem physical. It made it seem like you like were pushing him or like took it to the next level, crazy fight.
No, I didn't
the way
want to
his
like
face
that.
and the way he was sitting, like I was like, damn, what did the girl do?
I felt like sometimes when watching it, I felt like I was in trouble. Like,
right,
yes, like
his body language,
like the body language.
It was this for me. It was.
It was like this.
Yes, it was like very much like, oh shit.
The dead stare got me. I'm like, why are we just not looking at her?
Okay,
but it's crazy to hear you now say that fight was not physical at all.
At all,
right?
And it's kind of insane how it's been spun that way because. It was literally just me trying to protect him from production. That's all it was.
And I love that.
Now, would you say if Tim was here, would he agree or disagree?
Oh, he would agree.
No way.
That you were trying to protect him.
Yes, and he said it to the guy.
Okay, I probably should have watched this some more. Are we gonna get to the part where we got one of y'all gonna ask her how did we get to calling his man out his name, calling him an unstable creature in street terms? Calling him a female dog, even though he been calling himself a dog the whole time. Are we gonna get to that part? Are y'all gonna ask that question? Because that's the part I really want to know. We all agree. Tim said it himself that she didn't put hands, but he was called out his name. If you was trying to calm him down and not make him look bad on camera and yada yada yada, how we get to calling him a little B?
The next day too. Correct.
Yeah.
He knows it didn't get physical. And he even told Tyler the next day, he was like, yeah, no, she just protects me. He knew what I was doing.
Why did that give me chills in a way? You're a good woman because
that's definitely not what it makes it.
It makes it seem. It makes it seem like you were like the villain in that moment.
Okay, so she was the villain in that moment, and y'all gonna ignore the fact that she called this man out his name. Is that what we're doing? Miss Pretty Amazing. Miss Pretty Amazing. Let me spit real quick. I'll be right back. We're gonna address that. Hold up. Sorry, y'all. I will implore you all to go back and watch it and take your personals. Take personals out of that conversation and see how it went before we say anybody was going back and forth with anybody, because they was going back and forth with each other. They was going back and forth with each other. So not I guess we had to be there, team Alex. What? Oh, it's up here, Crazy Homebody Girl. You can go watch the replay. Yeah, I'm just let y'all go back because I don't like being in the middle of it because I know both parties or whatever and stuff like that. It's gonna be hard for one party to win when another party has a fan base already and things like that established or whatnot. But therefore, when we start getting into personals and we're going back on personals, it's never a good look, especially when the conversation is never personal about either party. So that's there. There's that. So I was kind of blown by how it got there, especially how it escalated so quickly. Yeah, we trying to figure that part out, and it's sounding like these ladies not gonna get there. Okay, it's sounding like these ladies is not gonna get there. So we need somebody that's gonna ask her the real question. We gonna ask you. We need somebody to ask you a real question. Because I don't know.
The whole time they make it seem like I did not like him. We just had that playful banter, whether it looks playful, and sometimes I do look annoyed. That's just my face. But but honestly, like I truly did love that man, and I truly wanted to hold him down. I'm like, no, we're gonna, whether even we get to the altar or not, I'm not gonna make you look crazy. And that was the first conversation we had when we spent the night together. I said, I'm not gonna embarrass you, and I don't want you to embarrass me. We're gonna always look out for each other, whether this ends on a good note or a bad note.
I wish it could have stayed there. I mean, that to me, that's the best way to go into it, because it's no secret that you're on a TV show. They do want it to do well, and that does involve drama. That does involve, scenes that don't make people look in their best light. But to have a partner that you guys are on the same page, it could have really helped this now after effect that now all of America is watching and judging and taking things in bits and pieces. Because I would say watching it, I honestly didn't think you liked him.
Everyone thought that.
I honestly thought that. I'm like, wait, but she doesn't like him. Does she love him?
But then when I watched the scene of like the final breakup, I was like, oh no, she cares. Like you can tell that you were hurting, but you weren't gonna sit there and just like break down for this man who was so just like, I'm done. But I could tell in that moment, okay, you cared.
Okay, so y'all not gonna actually ask her about calling him out his name?
How independent I was, how, I love my job. I love working. I love all the things. And I think he wanted that. But unfortunately, I think what he was prepared for, or the tools that he has for, is a docile woman who is just very quiet, doesn't have an opinion, who will just be in the kitchen and just do whatever.
Cleans and does
I kind of got that vibe from him, where it's like rather than having like a partner, it's like he wanted to just lead, and like that was it.
He wanted to be the man.
He wanted to be the. He wanted the.
Well, I'm gonna scan through this thing some more. I have the link down in the thing. It's an hour long. I'm not gonna do this whole hour because we done been here for an hour already talking about this right or wrong of it all. At the end of the day, allow your partner to have the space that they need to process whatever they're going through at the time. But also, as the partner that's processing, you need to be able to come back and say, hey, I know we put a pin in this for the moment, but this was what it was. Because if it doesn't actually have something to do with that person, it should be an easy conversation to have. And if it has something to do with that person, make sure you're in a calm space to actually have that conversation. Their situation should have never escalated the way it did. I'm going to go back to, had he not originally invaded her space of trying to continuously pry and just give her time to take her shower cool and stuff like that, they chill in the bed or whatever, wonderful. I'm going to go back to, hey, you cannot just move on after you shut somebody out and tell them, hey, let's just record or let's just do this other thing and stuff like that. Don't worry about that back there. That's nothing. But not tell them what it is. So both of y'all two actually have very good potential to make it. Y'all actually really did have very, very good potential to make it. But y'all communication was piss poor, which was really odd to me because they sound like they communicated really well in the pods. Oh, another thing that she did say in the beginning of this is that production does have them with some questions to ask. So there's certain days. So there's times when we feel like everything is about sex, and like this season was almost like everything was political and everything like that. That's because I think they have days where production gives them questions or subjects that they're supposed to talk about or whatnot. So you know, they're going to do their thing to get their edit in. They're going to make them have their conversation so we can get the edit in. They can get the edit in that they want out of it. And by the end of it, we get what we get. But not all of these conversations are just conversations that they're necessarily having on their own, that they're not prompted to have. So these are not sometimes I know we start looking at these people and it's like, God, do you get your head out the gutter? Is all you thinking about is sex, 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 sex? Is not necessarily the case. They might have just had a day of this is the topic. These are all so all the conversations are driven like this. And so they'll edit that person, splice and dice to make them look like that. That's just their thing. But these two going forth into your next relationships and whatever relationships follow that, if your next one is not your last one, y'all have to work on y'all communications. And the funny fact is y'all both are great communicators. Y'all very, you know, articulate when y'all speak on these platforms and these panel and these interviews and everything. But when you're in a relationship, you can't shut people out. And I'm guilty. I am definitely guilty of this. My mom is the one who had to tell me. She was like, you know, that isolating, that going quiet and stonewalling person is just not going to work. It's not going to work when you're in an actual relationship with somebody. So if you need that moment to yourself to just process what you're going through and just think about the words that you want to use and how you want to say it or what you want to speak about in a certain situation, take that time. But then you cannot just totally just sweep that under the rug and then carry on with everything going on, because now you have involved somebody else. They are invested into what's going on with you, especially when they say they care about you and they're your partner and they're, you know, y'all husband and wife or whatever and stuff. They do care. They at least should care. So you should care enough to fill them in what's going on. As a person who goes and deals with depression from time to time, it's not easy to talk to a person about what's going on inside my head sometimes, but I have to try so they can understand what I'm going through. Because at the end of the day, that's what we all really want, is to be understood. We want to be heard and understood. And you can't do that being silent. You can't do that saying, oh, nothing's wrong, but physically they can see something's wrong. You can't do that and say, I don't want to talk about it right now. And right now, the time to talk about it never comes. So you do have to set aside times and things that you actually have these conversations. And you have to let a person know that, hey, maybe right now, because I will get very emotional behind it, I don't want to talk about it. So when I can numb these emotions so we can have an actual conversation about it, I would rather do it then. And then granted, that person needs to respect that boundary and say, okay, you let me know when you're ready to have this conversation. You know, I'm not going to tell y'all to have a conversation while y'all in heated spaces, because that never goes well. Don't do it while you're drunk or intoxicated on something else or whatever and stuff. That generally doesn't go well either. Try to have it when you're calm. You guys are in a good space. And listen, do something that has been done to me before. You tell the person, hey, I'm telling you something about how I feel. Let me just express my feelings. I'm not trying to argue with you. That actually worked for me. That actually, when a person came and addressed me like that, that actually worked for me, because then I'm not on defense. I'm not on offense either. I'm not on neither. I'm just ready. I'm in a space to be a teammate. I'm in a space to sit here and receive whatever they're saying to me, and we can have an actual conversation. So sometimes you might have to present the conversation in, I'm not trying to go to war with you. I'm just trying to actually let you know where I stand right now, how I feel right now, what is going on in my side of the world and whatnot. And, you know, I don't know, maybe it'll work out for you. We all have to work on our communication with one another. Practice with your friends. That's always good practice. You know, our friends are always very graceful with us or whatnot. A lot of times they're very forgiving with us. So it's a good space to start. And then it gets easier over time to have these conversations with your partner. And hopefully you have a partner that is willing to do the same back with you. But thank you all for being here through this cocktail reaction video. I want to say I appreciate you all. Please hit like, share, subscribe button. And if you are watching this on the replay, let me know what you think about the conversation. Add your 2 cents, penny pinch. If you got any tips or recommendations and stuff, recipes for some new cocktails, let us know. All right. Let us know how we can be better all together as far as a community. Okay. Love you all. Y'all have a great day. Child, I'm about to cough my way up out here. Dang. Feel like I've been smoking. Ooh, child.